Pokemon's 20th anniversary has come and gone now, but I still have one last list to do, and that's my personal top 5 Pokemon games and why. Obviously this list is just a bit of fun and my opinion at the end of the day. Some of you might agree with my list, but I'm sure most of you won't. And that's fine, and I'd love to hear what your favourite Pokemon games are in the comments section. So let's start off with number 5. Starting with the most recent addition to the Pokemon series, Pokemon Omega Ruby. Now this game for me brought me back into portable gaming as a whole, but that's not why it's on my list. All the remakes we've had have always updated the region in one way or another, and Omega Ruby was no different. They brought in the manual flying system, and by just making Hoenn look amazing in the 3D engine, made me fall in love with this game. I did consider putting Pokemon X and Y on the list for the introduction of Mega Evolution, but considering this feature was also brought over to the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire games, it made my choice a lot easier. Omega Ruby feels like a completely different game to the original Ruby and Sapphire, and in my opinion, that's because it is. Number 4. Going in for a 4th gen entry at number 4, we have 2 games, Pokemon Diamond and Platinum. You may be thinking, well, why choose both, when Platinum is just Diamond and Pearl in one game with added content? Well, for me, Pokemon Platinum was a true sequel to Pokemon Diamond, and I absolutely loved Diamond when it came out, so the games almost feel like one long game to me. I love the art style of the games, not necessarily the Pokemon, but the actual game itself. This game was great for me too, as they added in a lot of evolutions of Pokemon that I never thought would get another evolution. Pokemon Diamond and Platinum for me is just one massive journey of awesomeness, and the way you acquire your starter always felt the most realistic. Number 3. Going far back in time now, we have Pokemon Yellow. This was my first ever Pokemon game and I loved it so much. It was one of my most prized possessions, and when I lost it, I was devastated. The fact that I loved the Pokemon cartoon anyway made me instantly want this game, and I'll never forget when I first saw that cute little Pikachu follow me around. I felt like the most special kid ever. The great thing about this game is that you can still play it now, and I love playing it from time to time to have almost a childlike feeling again. Number 2. Having a look into the 3rd generation of Pokemon, we have Pokemon Emerald. This game brought me back into Pokemon. I hadn't played Ruby or Sapphire, but when I saw this game advertised in an Argos catalogue, something inside me knew that I needed that game, and oh how right that feeling was. The 3rd gen had so many firsts: introduction of running shoes, introduction of double battles, introduction of wireless trading. Emerald allowed me to experience both Ruby and Sapphire in one game cartridge, plus so much more. It has so much replayability, and even now with the remakes out, I still play it from time to time. The designs of the Pokemon in the 3rd gen might also be my favourite of all time, as well as the game having one of the coolest legendaries ever, Rayquaza. Quick bonus game, we have Pokemon Puzzle Challenge for the Game Boy Color. This is a great little puzzle game for on the go, fast paced and Pokemon themed obviously. In fact, I've just done a playthrough of it, so you can see what the game's like there. And now, in at number 1, we have another remake. Not the first, but second set of remakes. It's Pokemon SoulSilver. I absolutely love the 2nd generation of Pokemon for multiple reasons. The story was fun and almost an extension of the original, the Pokemon designs are beautiful and creative, and it's literally 2 games in one. So when I heard they were remaking it, I was ecstatic, and I wasn't disappointed. It did everything a remake should. It kept all the features and qualities of the original that made it so great, and added in new inventive features to it. Firstly, the Gen 4 graphics look fantastic in the Gen 2 location. The addition of being able to physically take a Pokemon out of the game with you and train it by walking was amazing. It made you feel even more like a Pokemon trainer. And making it so you could have rematches with the gym leaders made the game seem almost endless. And finally, reintroducing the ability to have a Pokemon follow you was great, but making it so it could be any Pokemon was a stroke of genius. Everyone loved their Pikachu in Pokemon Yellow, but I bet at least once you thought, I wish Charmander could follow me. Well, this is literally the game for you. Have your favourite Pokemon follow you everywhere. It becomes quite comical though if you have a particularly large Pokemon follow you around. So, there's my favourite Pokemon games ever. There's a nice mix there, but you might be someone who only likes Gen 1 and 2, or someone who's only ever played Pokemon X and Y. Well, all I can say is that it's always good for a series to evolve, but it's never a bad thing to revisit the past and enjoy some classics. If you guys have any favourite Pokemon games, then why not leave them in the comments? I encourage it, and if you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button, it really helps out the channel. So if you're after more retro goodness, then head over to the Retro Boy channel and hit that big red subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.